Hey, this is Sean from An Average Car Guy Reviews. Today, we're going to be reviewing a 2018 Jeep Wrangler. This is actually my Jeep Wrangler, so I know it fairly well. But it's a good place for us to start, and it's a good vehicle to start with. Lots of good things about Wranglers. There's some bad things about Wranglers. The things I like about mine the most are the color. This is an amazing color. I never thought I would buy an orange Jeep, but gosh, I did. So, what made me buy an orange Jeep? Quick background on that. Had no intentions on buying a two-door Wrangler, and I drove a four-door Wrangler. I had a Grand Cherokee at the time, and I drove a four-door Wrangler, and decided that hey, maybe I should go drive a two-door, see if it's that much better. And well, this happened to be the two-door that I drove, and I fell in love with it right away. Uh, the color was just spectacular, and it's got some good options to it. The color match fenders and the color match top are big on these, so that's something that you don't see every day. And then being the Rubicon, it came with the factory lift, so that kind of helped it a little bit. And then since I've owned it, I've done a couple of things. I've put 35-inch tires on it, put a winch on the front of it, uh, put a CB on it, and I've just done a couple other things. So let's take a look around it and see what we've got. So as you can see, we've got a winch on the front of it that I need to do a little repair to here and there. For the most part, the winch is good. As we come around to the passenger side, you can see that I installed a snorkel. It's not all there. It's kind of in road mode right now, but when I'm off road, I do go ahead and add the upper piece to that, and gives me a little more fording ability. So that's always a nice thing to have. I did add Fox shocks to it. It's got 90,000 miles on it, so it was ready for new shocks. And like I said, I added a CB to it. Now, if you need a Jeep to have some space, this isn't the one to own. The back seat's currently in the Jeep, and you can see there is zero space that back there. I have my small off-road toolkit over here and my first aid kit over here, and I do have a box over here that I keep a lot of my off-roading equipment in. Now, if we come back around here, you can see on the driver's side, a lot of people don't realize that the Rubicons, a lot of them have leather in them, and mine is one of those. A little bit of a back seat back there, not a whole lot. You need to have short legs or be real good friends to sit back there very long. The seats don't really go all the way forward, so it does make it a little bit harder to get back into the back seat, and that's my own fault. As we get down a little bit lower, you can see that we've got, as I said, I added Fox shocks to it, and I did do the fender liners, metal fender liners, which do tend to help with a little bit of off-roadage, and I think they look a little bit better too, if I'm being just completely honest. Well, we're back in the Jeep, and we're going to take it for a little drive here, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Obviously, I'm a little partial to this one because I've been driving it for 5 years. So we're just leaving this little Peace River area. I just had to tell some old guy that he probably isn't going to get his boat in the water, but he seemed to think he could jump over those trees. So good for him. Um, we're a special kind of folks, this part of Florida. Matter of fact, we're special enough to keep an eye out, and I hope to start a channel soon where I'm going to call it Ramblings of a Florida Man, and it'll just be different things that I do as I go along. And hey, maybe we'll have some good Florida Man material on there. I don't know. I don't know that I qualify as your typical Florida man, but I'll do my best. So the Jeep, we're on a dirt road right now, so you can probably hear it. And Jeep's not known to be the most quiet vehicle on the face of the earth. And I'm still trying to figure out this camera too while we're at it. You know what I mean? So when we're coming down this road, it's a little noisy, but I guess it's not much noisier than other cars would be. The big thing that people complain about in Jeeps that aren't really Jeep people is how they're bumpy and they're windy and this, that, and the other thing. Well, they're Jeeps. Jeeps are bumpy and windy, and they're not meant to drive like a luxury car. About the most luxury you get is with the options, and well, I've got some pretty good options in mine, I think. One of the things I do love about my Jeep is this, is when you stand into it, it gets up and goes. That 3.6 is sitting on some pretty good horsepower, and it'll get you up real quick to 60. Now, it's no Tesla, it's no Rivian or anything fancy like that, but it moves out. Basically, you think about it, it's got the 6-cylinder cop car engine in it that Chrysler uses across the board. So it's going to get up and go pretty well. As far as drivability goes, a lot of people complain about the steering on Jeeps. I did a little bit to make mine a little bit better, but I think I've just gotten used to it. If it's windy, you're going to wander around like a drunk. If it's rainy and you don't have the right tires on one of these, you're going to have some problems. There's no doubt about it. But do I like it? I sure do. I recently sold a perfectly good BMW 3 Series because I never drove it. I liked this that much more as a daily driver. It's just fun to drive. It gets in and out of traffic. It does its thing. It gets horrible gas mileage. I'm getting about 15 to 17 if I'm nice to it. I don't get great gas mileage, but that's not about what this vehicle's about. It's not made to be a vehicle that handles super well. It's not made to be a vehicle that carries much. It's a two-door Jeep. It is the great grandchild of the venerable CJ7, and it still has some of those attributes, thank goodness. That may really only be that it's a tub with removable doors and a removable top and that sort of thing, but it also makes it more drivable being this way. I love the CJ7. Anybody that knows Jeeps knows that the CJ7 is just an amazing vehicle. But I'll tell you one thing, I would not want to drive one every day. It's 94 degrees right now outside, and I can promise you that even if I had a CJ with air, I'd be sweating to death, and I wouldn't be able to do this video because of all the wind noise. So I'm pretty happy with that idea. What are the drawbacks on a Jeep? Especially a two-door Wrangler. That's all we're going to compare it to. Drawbacks on a Jeep for anybody, said gas mileage. The 3.6 does have some potential issues. It is always known that there was some design flaw, metal flaw, some kind of flaw where they used where the camshafts are just not as good as they should be. And some people don't get very many miles out of them. I, however, have a buddy who's got 160,000 miles on his previous generation JK with the same engine. He's never had a problem out of it. I've got friends who have got Jet. I have known people that have had problems at 60 and 70,000 miles. I don't know. Part of the thing that I did to get rid of that, I switched my oil to 5W30, and I went ahead and switched to the Baxter. So those were my fixes for it, and I don't hear my engine in the mornings when I start it up. So I think I'm doing something right. Would I want to drive the Jeep on a long trip? Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I would, and I have. I've driven this thing to Georgia a couple of times for some off-road trips. I've driven it to Tennessee. I spent essentially 4 solid days in the Jeep with probably 10 to 12-hour days. And when I got home, I still liked it. I didn't hate myself. So I think there's a lot to be said there for both those cases. Would I buy one again? Absolutely. Would I buy a two door again? Absolutely. Would I be absolutely devastated if something happened to my big bright orange Jeep? Yeah, absolutely, because you don't see very many like this. And for a vehicle that I wanted nothing to do with when I first saw it, and literally just went to test drive it so I'd know how a two door Jeep drove, I sure have enjoyed it. I've sure been lucky to have it. I'm going to add in some pictures here and there of my Jeep at the end of the video that'll just show you part of the reason I do like it. If you have any questions about Jeeps, I don't claim to be a guru. I have owned 11 Jeeps. Oddly enough, this is the only Wrangler I've ever owned. I've owned XJ Cherokees, if you're familiar with those. My last Jeep prior to this was a very nice 2012 WJ2 Grand Cherokee that was the Overland edition. And I had it set up for off road. I did off road it. Maybe I'll throw a picture in here so you can see it. And it was a great vehicle. The only reason I got rid of it, well, there were three reasons I got rid of it. Number one, it was kind of a big girl off road. As much as I loved her, she was a bit of a full figured gal on the highway, or I'm sorry, off road. And the other reasons I got rid of her was because she had the Hemi V8 in her, and those are known for a Hemi tick, which in that particular engine with what they call the MDS, multiple displacement system, it's a pretty expensive fix. And I was also coming out of warranty. Buzzard. There's a buzzard in the road. Gotta love rural Florida. And then the other thing was it had the air suspension. And while the air suspension was neat from the standpoint of being able to jack that thing up when you needed it off road, if you put it above medium, your kidneys just weren't safe. And my parents weren't riding with me as much anymore, so I really didn't need that air suspension to be able to drop it into park mode to help elderly people get into the car. I didn't need it for towing because I had sold the vehicle I was going to tow, so it made sense to. So, like and subscribe, please. If you wanted to share the video, I know I only have a few people watching me right now, but if you would share the video, I would be forever grateful. I'd appreciate your like and your subscribe. And like I said, leave me comments. I'm going to read them all, and I plan on dropping videos about twice a month. Thank you. Have a great day.